welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James. I'm going to be explaining how to play this game called Legends of the American Frontier. It plays 3 to 7 players and you determine your life course. You can be a patriot, a frontiersman, gentleman, soldier, missionary, scout, statesman, explorer. You live the life of a pioneer just after the Revolutionary War, 1780s to 1800s. The history of each character will unfold over the course of this game. After the tale is told, one will be a legend of the American frontier. This is all the stuff that's in the game. It plays 3 to 7, so a lot of players, but they give you 10 boards. And so you have a player board and you have 4 cards matching the picture on the board, and you have a player token. And I do have to say, this company went out of its way to have everything. You just got great artwork, great quality to the boards and the pieces. Awesome artwork. So I'm just going to move some of these out of the way now that you've seen all of this, and we'll just keep 4 of them out here. Each of them has their own special ability, and if you read right here, it tells you what the ability is. Like Nathaniel here says, each time you win an adventure, take 1 extra happiness token. This includes group adventures. So make sure you check out when you're playing this what it says on your player mat. Here's the board here, and we have this set up right here to have all of your reward cards. There's 6 reward cards each, and they are just shuffled, and then you flip the top one up and just stuck under the place on the board. This is your status deck, your wealth deck, your fame deck, and your happiness deck. Here's your hardship deck. That's also shuffled but not flipped up. You have your adventure decks, and your adventure decks are shuffled, and then you put 8 cards out. 2, 4, 6, 8. So there's plenty that you do not see. So each game is going to be different, and then you're going to shuffle those and set them up there. Shuffle those and put them up there. Shuffle those, put those up there. You have your reward tokens here, and these reward tokens match the symbols over here. So these are predominantly the token you'll need to buy these cards, to buy the reward cards using the reward tokens. So here's the different kinds of reward tokens. You have failure cards, which are these black cards. And there's 1 for each symbol on your player mat. A personality, a fight, a providence, a knowledge, a frontier, and a capitalism failure card. You have fate wheels, and these fate wheels go out here and they adjust the complexity of your adventures. Then you also have true grit tokens, which are these tokens here, and I think I must have got a box that may be a Kickstarter box or something, because these are metal ones, and they're the same as those. So I'm not sure, and I just got mine through a normal game source, so they must have printed some extra Kickstarter ones maybe and got some extra stuff, because I think I've got some extra cards too beyond the base game. So that's the way you set this up. The first player is the most frontiersman looking person, guy, or the most pioneering woman looking. You got an upbringing, an adventure stage, a legend, 4. Upbringing, adventure, legend, and final scoring stage. So for the upbringing stage, this is approximately the first 15 years of your life. You you deal out 5 cards. These are the upbringing cards. You're going to shuffle those up. You're going to deal 5 to each player. Then what's going to happen is you're going to draft from those. You're going to look at them. You're going to pick one of those that you want. Everybody's going to pick one. They're going to pass to the left. Everybody's going to pick another one, pass to the left. Everybody's going to pick one, pass to the left until you have 4 cards that you've drafted, and you're going to discard the 5th. So you're going to keep 4 of these cards. And that's going to be the start of your legend. So you're going to take those and you're going to... Everybody's going to have 4 left at the end. Then you're going to adjust your skills dials on here based on the 4 cards you drafted. This is going to tell you, like this one here, here's what it says out to here. It says, I was self-educated, started by reading the Bible by candlelight. Okay? Started reading the good book, but soon was reading history, law, and the classics. There's a lot of really great flavor text to go along with this game. But so you're going to start each of these wheels at 0. And then you're going to adjust them based on the cards you drafted. And these are great wheels too. They're really tight. They're not loose like some games where you pick them up and they're constantly shifting around on you. Once you set them, they stay there pretty good. So this one adjusts the knowledge to 2 and providence to 1. Here's one that adjusts the providence to more and personality by 1. Here's one that adjusts the providence by 3. Now there is a special rule, you can't go over 4 on this startup. So you might not want to draft to go over 4. It's okay to keep the card if you do that, but you may want to draft a different one. And then adjusting the capitalism and personality. So that's how Samuel would start out if those were the 4 cards he drafted. And then once you've done that, you are going to lay these cards out in front of you as the beginning of the tale of your life. Then you also are going to, some of these are actually going to have some kind of reward or true grit token on them. I don't see any on those. Yeah, here's one that gives you a reward here. It gives you a happiness token. So you're going to take, if you would have drafted that, you're going to take that happiness token and just keep it with you. And these reward tokens, they allow you to buy the reward cards. So just watch, and here's one that gives you a true grit token. So you would take that if you had drafted that card. So you deal 7 cards from the skill deck, and this is your skill deck, a really large deck here. You're going to deal 7 skill cards to each player, something like that. And that's all there is to the upbringing stage. Then you go into the adventure stage, the second stage. And you go to the sunrise phase of the adventure stage. So on the sunrise stage, what you do is you move your adventure card up 1 space on each of these spots here on the board. And if it moves off, you discard the fate wheel. There's a fate wheel that's going to be on here too. So if the card moves off, then you discard the fate wheel, and then you place a new adventure card. So we take an adventure card from our stack. We've got our far east ones here. So we're going to flip a card up here. We are going to, let's move these out of the way, flip a card up here. And flip a card up here. And we are also going to put the fate wheels down. Now the fate wheel, you'll notice the fate wheel is on this card, so it goes face up. The fate wheel on this card is not where the card is, so the fate wheel would be face down. And likewise with the far west. It gives you a little bit more of an idea of the unknown far west. So you don't know how this fate wheel is going to adjust the adventure. and it takes longer for you to find out. Now, my personal preference is to put the fate wheel up there. That way, when the cards move up, then you remember to flip over that fate wheel instead of putting it down here and trying to remember that when it got up here to flip it over. But however you want to do. And this tells you something that modifies the adventure. Once you're done with the sunrise phase, you're going to go into the daytime phase. And the daytime phase is you're going to go try to go through one of these adventures. And so everybody has their action cards, and their action cards, remember, have the same back as their player. And these are all identical. All they do is they say back east, frontier, far west, and rest. So if you like this adventure and you want to do this, you're going to play back east, you're going to play it face down. Or if you like this one, you play frontier. If you like this one, you go far west, or you can rest as your fourth option. So once everybody has done that, you are going to flip them over and see where everybody's going to go. And it happens in this order. It happens back east, frontier, far west, and then rest is the fourth thing, and so that's going to happen in this order. Now, some of these have an and symbol on them, and that means you can, both of those are trumps, or both of those are combined, those skills. Some of them are just single, like this one, and some of them say or in there. Here's one that says or. So you got fighting or personality to use on this one, but you can't use both. It means one or the other. Okay, so and means you add all of your skills. So you're going to look at your skill on your player mat there. And this one is going to add your providence and your wealth to try to meet this adventure. And when there's an or, each player can be different, because there can be more than one player attempting the adventure. So each player might have a different ability that they are trying to defeat the adventure with. So to attempt an adventure, what you do is you flip the fate token face up if it's not already face up. So in the case of the frontier or the far west, these would flip up if somebody's going there when that happens. But again, we're starting with the back east. So let's see what we've got here. Well, to start out with, this is a solo adventure. You look in the upper right-hand corner, there's only one figure there, there's one figure there, there's one figure there. But some of these have multiple figures, which means this is actually a group adventure. And if you look at the points needed, you can tell that it's a group adventure because these are significantly higher points that need to happen for you to succeed at completing this adventure. So in this case, you've got providence or wealth or capitalism is what it is. And it's and it's equal to 15. So you are going to, if you had played your card on back east, you are going to take one of your skill cards and you're going to look at them. And there's a wide variety. Let me show you some examples here. There is cards that are higher numbered cards, greater than 5, that they just have a certain skill on them. Like we have personality or knowledge. And so you can play one of those to try to complete this adventure. Now, none of them are going to be 15, so you can only play one of these cards down, one of these like this, and it has to match one of those two symbols. You also have cards that are of a lower value of 4 or less. And you can play them multiple of those cards together. It's called American Ingenuity that was used. And so you can add the values of the cards. And oftentimes they also have some special ability on these cards. Like this one says, shot of whiskey. Discard this card to gain one of your true grit tokens there. But again, these have to match the correct symbol. And then there's also luck. And luck has a rabbit's foot on it. And you can use that in with your American Ingenuity. You have to have a card that matches the correct trump. You cannot use it in with one of the higher value, the 5 or greater number cards where you only get to play one card. But with American Ingenuity, you can use it in with those cards. Again, you have to have at least one that matches. And there is also a wild card, which is a 7-point card, and it doesn't have a symbol on it that matches any of these. So you can always use that if you want to. And that's just, you can only play that by itself also. You can also play True Grit tokens. Everybody starts with one True Grit token at the beginning of the game. You can play a True Grit token, you can discard it to replace one of your Destiny Deal cards. What's a Destiny Deal? Well, once you've played your skill card out, so Steven here, he plays his skill card out to try to do this, and he adds his skill points here on his chart. He flips over the top card on the skill deck, and he adds that number to the total. And it doesn't matter what the trump is on this card, because it always adds, no matter what the number is. Now, if it happens to be trump, or it happens to be a wild card, or it happens to be a luck card, you get to draw another card. And you keep doing that if it's a trump, a wild, or a luck card. Okay, you can discard a True Grit token to replace one of your Destiny Deal cards. If you don't like it, if you think you can draw, now these two are pretty good, but if you drew a really low card here, you might want to discard like this too. If that was your Destiny Deal, you might want to discard a True Grit token to discard that one and replace it with another one and get a better shot at it. You can also discard two True Grit tokens to not draw the penalty card. The penalty. There are penalties down here on your adventure cards. If you do not succeed at this adventure, you have to draw some penalty cards. And if you discard 2 True Grit tokens, you do not have to do that. So you total up your skill on your player mat. You total up all of your original card plus your Destiny Deal cards. If you have a total that's higher than or equal to the adventure number here, then you get a reward if you're the highest player. Now, there may be more than one player that goes to the back east, right? And so you just go all the way around until everybody has gone that is going to go back east, and whoever the highest value is, as long as he has beaten, equaled, or exceeded this number, then he gets this card. Anybody else who equaled, or exceeded this number does not get a reward, but they also don't get a penalty if you did not exceed, equal or exceed this value. Then you have to draw one of these tokens or whatever down here. This one says this one or this one. So Providence or Capitalism, you're going to draw one of the penalty cards. If there's a tie for highest value, then whoever is closest to the first player gets it. So the first player would get it, or the next player, whoever went first. If it's a group card, remember there's group cards here. If there's a group adventure, what happens is whoever has the highest value, he goes first, and there are several different rewards. You'll notice even on this one it says +1 skill, and you draw 2 happiness tokens, and you get a status token or a happiness token. But +1 skill adjusts here, whichever one you want when you do this. And then you take the card and you add it to your legend, And then that adjusts your legend because it's got a writing here, and then down at the bottom you get some victory points at the end of the game. Now on the group tokens, what happens is you'll see different scrolls. So those are different rewards that are available. So whoever has the highest number of points towards this adventure, he gets to pick which of these he wants to do, wants rewards as, and then whoever is next highest and next highest until all of the rewards are gone. And if there's still rewards left, once everybody has gotten a reward, then it goes back to the highest player again and keeps going until all the rewards are gone. So this one actually has 1, 2, 3 rewards, and the card itself is a reward. So somebody can take the card as the reward or take one of the scrolls. If you do not succeed, everybody has to face the penalty and take a penalty card that is stated down here at the bottom. And then once you're done with the adventures, you've gone through the back east, the frontier, the far west, you age the card. So aging the card just moves it up one. So if you've done the back east adventure and you have not succeeded at the back east, you'll move that one up, and then you'll do the frontier. If you don't succeed at that, it moves up. You do the far west. If it doesn't succeed, you move it up, and then you do the rest. And if you succeed at the adventure, then you're going to discard the fate token. Remember to use the fate token in your total. This one says reshuffle the fate. So your fate tokens out here, they can get discarded out and they don't get reused, but this would say, okay, reshuffle those back in. Doesn't do much on the first turn, right? But you might have one that says no American ingenuity can be used. So you can't combine smaller cards with this one, but you don't know that unless that one's flipped up until you get there. This one says luck is not treated as trump, so you can't use the luck cards in that one. Rest action. If you chose to rest, here's what happens. There's 4 things you do. The first thing you do is you either draw 4 cards and then discard down to 7, your hand size limit, or you can take a True Grit token. Your second thing you can do is you can trade 2 for 1 of your reward tokens. So if you have 2 tokens of any kind, you can trade 2 of them for 1 of a different one. And you can do that as many times as you want. A third thing you can, and then the third thing you do is you can trade 3 True Grit tokens for a skill. So you can add 1 to one of your skills. Now the limitation on doing that is you can only be whatever your minimum skill is plus 4, and you do not count 0 skills. So any skill that's a 0 is not considered your minimum skill. So if you had knowledge at 1, then the highest any of your other ones could go up by trading in True Grit would be 4. Unless you change your knowledge up to 2, and then your maximum could be 5. And then the fourth thing you can do is you can buy a reward card. And the cost for the reward card is stated at the top of the card here. So for this fame card, you have to turn in 2 fame tokens. And remember, you get those as your rewards here. So this one says, you may always trade fame for status. So that's just a 1-for-1 trade there. And so that allows you to swap and get status tokens if you want to. This says discard 1 failure card or take 1 True Grit. So that's your bonus. And then plus you have points that add up at the end of the game. And these will add to your legend out here. And so that's the rest action, those 4 actions. Then you drop into the evening phase. And in the evening phase, the adventure stage ends if the adventure card needed at the location is out, so you've run out of cards in an adventure on one of these stages, or if 2 of the reward or hardship decks are out. So any 2 of the reward decks or the hardship decks have run out, then you are done with your adventure stage here, and you go into your legend stage. And if that has not happened, then here's what you do. You can buy a reward card. So even those people that bought a reward card during rest, they can do this again. You pass the first player token, which is this token here. So that gets passed to the left. You start the sunrise phase over again. You're going to move your adventure card up. And so if your adventure card gets up to the same height as your fate token, you're going to flip your fate token over. If your card moves off the top, then you're going to draw you a new card. And then once you get done going through that and you meet the qualification for going into the legend stage, what you do is you award the legacy cards. And here are the legacy cards. There are 8 cards here, and you read the qualifications for those, and they give you bonus points at the end of the game. Like this one says, granted to the player with the most total adventure cards. This one is granted to the player with the most Far West adventure cards, the most Frontier cards, the most Back East cards, the most Happiness reward cards, the most Fame reward cards, the most Wealth reward cards, and the most Status reward cards. So whoever meets those qualifications gets given this card, and it gives them a bonus points at the end. And if there's a tie for any of these, they don't get given out. Then each person reads their legends. They read along the side of their legends on what they did growing up, what they accomplished during their life. And the first player token, this is an optional rule. You give the first player token to the person with the best legend. That gives you some bonus points at the end. And then you go into the final scoring. And the way final scoring works is you add up all of your legend cards. Any of your cards that you have in your legend that give you points, you're going to add those up. You are going to get 4, for 4 reward tokens, you can get 1 victory point. So if you have leftover reward tokens, those trade in at 4 for 1. You get plus 5 points if you have the first player marker. So if you had the best story, if you use that rule. And if there's a tie, then for the most number of points, then whoever has the most cards in their legend is the winner. There are some slight adjustments for 3 players. So about half a page of adjustments. And there's also optional rules for making the game shorter or longer. And they do that by making these adventure cards, putting more in there or fewer in the adventure card decks. A few slight adjustments like that. But that's how you play Legends of the American Frontier. Top quality parts and artwork for this game. Very, very impressed with it. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network.